Well, today, a guilty verdict handed down in the case testing the limits of who is responsible for a mass shooting. That is where we begin this evening. We appreciate you being with us here on 11 Alive and streaming with us on 11 Alive Plus. I'm Jennifer Bellamy.
And I'm Faith Jesse. Tonight, the first trial connected to the Apalachee school shooting. It comes to an end with the guilty verdict on all charges for Colin Gray. That shooting at Apalachee High School on September 4th, 2024. It killed 2 students and 2 teachers. Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo were the students there. Teachers Christina Aramy and Richard Aspinwall, who is also a football coach, also were killed. There were a number of others injured in this shooting.
We have team coverage for you tonight, covering the reaction after today's verdict. We are going to begin with Grace King, live from the Barrow County Courthouse.
Grace, jurors reached that verdict rather quickly. You were inside of the courtroom. Can you paint a picture for us? What was it like waiting for that verdict?
It was a really emotional morning in court as that guilty verdict was read out by the court. A lot of these families have been waiting for 18 months for some kind of accountability, and this guilty verdict is one step forward in their healing process.
Count 1, murder in the second degree. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
In this Barrow County courtroom, jurors had no doubts there are multiple people responsible for the Apalachee High School tragedy. They spent less than 2 hours deliberating before convicting Colin Gray, the father of accused Apalachee High School shooter Colt Gray, on all 27 counts, including second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter for the deaths of Richard Aspinwall, Christina Aramy, Christian Angulo, and Mason Schermerhorn.
This was a trial about this defendant's actions, his choices, and his responsibility.
Colin now faces up to 245 years in prison.
I knew it when my little girl just texted me. She's in middle school. She said, we're in lockdown. I'm like, God, I'm like, please something.
At trial, prosecutors say that reaction to the 2024 school shooting was proof Colin had sufficient warning to take an AR-style rifle away from his troubled 14-year-old.
You take away his ability to talk about school shootings, but you don't take away his ability to commit school shootings? I mean, the gun stayed, right?
Well, the gun stayed.
To build their case, prosecutors showed video from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office where they questioned Colt in May 2023 after a report he may have made school shooting threats online.
I gotta take you at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me.
And photos showing a shrine they say was displayed for months in Colt's bedroom, featuring photos and news articles about a convicted school shooter.
How do you allow those pictures on your child's wall and not question it further?
On Thursday, Colin broke down in court as he watched the moment prosecutors say his son took lives at Apalachee High School.
There's this whole other side of Colt I didn't know existed.
But by today, he hardly reacted as his future was forever changed too.
This was multiple warnings over a lengthy period of time. And like we said, you just had to do one thing and take that rifle away, and this would have been prevented.
And I saw both of Colin's defense attorneys as they left the courthouse this afternoon. They told me no comment. As for the sentencing, that will be up to the defense attorneys and prosecution to figure out a time when all the victims of this tragedy can come and testify in hopes of having some kind of impact on his sentence. He faces up to 245 years in prison. Live in Barrow County, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
Grace, thank you for bringing that to us and just breaking down what she just said there. Colin Gray, he faces up to 30 years in prison for each murder charge and up to 10 years on each manslaughter charge.